Magikarp, the worst Pokemon of all time. Known for his horrid stats and most of all splashing and doing nothing. Well, in my case, he was gonna be that Pokemon that'd rise up and beat every train in the Kanto region to become the champion. Yes, I'm sure you've all realized by now this month's challenge will be beating Pokemon with only a Magikarp. I already know this one is gonna be a big challenge, but I'm probably sure I'm gonna be able to do it. Anyways, while you're at it, pause the video and go comment down below what level I'll have to be to defeat the game, or if I even can. Then, as the video goes on, see how this may affect your choice. I want to remind everybody that the goal is not to beat the game, but also at the lowest level possible, so here are the rules. I can only use Magikarp in battle, I'm allowed to use items in battle. Gosh, how am I supposed to beat this game without items? Other Pokemon for HMs are allowed, and no hacking or glitching the game. I start out in Pallet Town, and as for starters, I replace Squirtle with Magikarp, a decision I will most definitely regret because it makes the challenge more entertaining. Well, for you guys at least. I nickname our Magikarp KARPEDIEM, hope you all like the pun, and we hop into our first rival battle against Shark, who is ready to eat us up. Come on, Shark.
Fish are friends, not food.
In this battle against our rival, Magikarp pulled his weight like the powerful fish he is and carried us to a complete loss. Because he doesn't know a single attacking move. Luckily, I don't have to battle our rival again, so we can just carry out through the game and get our Pokedex and stuff. Now let's take a look at our boy KARPEDIEM. He's got a relaxed nature which raises our defense and lowers the speed. Don't know if that's good or bad. I considered resetting for an adamant Magikarp, but I really didn't want to waste the time doing that. As for moves, we only have Splash, so I can't hit anything. Now you're probably wondering how I'm gonna beat the game. I mean, after all, how am I going to win a battle with a Magikarp whose only attack is Splash, which doesn't do anything? I mean, if that's the case, this is gonna be a real struggle. Which is actually the solution. You see, when a Pokemon runs out of moves, they don't just sit there during a battle. By running out of moves, you actually activate Struggle, a base 50 power typeless move that gives you 25% recoil. This way, we will actually be able to struggle through the game and level up. Luckily, the first real trainer fight that is required is in Viridian Forest, which is where two very important Pokemon are. Metapod and Kapuna. You see, at this forest, the only moves these Pokemon know are Harden, which raises your defense. This means that they have no damaging moves and I can use Smash in front of their stiff faces until I ran out of the move's power points and got into struggle range. While I did find a solution, it wasn't that easy. Metapod and Kakuna have a combined 15% chance of spawning, so I have to do quite a bit of running until I find one. Plus I have to find 2 Kakunas or Metapods, since they can each use Harden 30 times, which is less than my Magikarp Splash, which I must use 40 times. Meaning they will get into struggle range before I do, so I need to run away. And once I get into struggle range, every time I attack a Pokemon, I take 25% recoil of the damage I do, so I slowly lose health. So I might as well fight Metapods and Kakunas in the process. To make matters worse, every time I heal the Poké Center, my power points and Splash get restored, so I try to get every potion possible to speed up the process. I understand that some of you think that the Ludicolo video wasn't really a challenge, but can we all agree this one is borderline impossible and very hard? I mean, look at how much experience I gain. After an hour of grinding, I get to level 10, so I decide to fight the first trainer. Watch me as I am in full health, fully healthy as I barely get past the bug trainer with the weakest first form bug type Pokemon poisoned at 1 HP. If I can barely beat those Pokemon, how am I supposed to beat Brock with his heavy, ridiculously bulky Pokemon? You know what this means, guys. More grinding. Much more grinding. While you watch me suffer, it would really help if you could hit that subscribe and like button. Also, comment down below what you want me to do for the next challenge. Even if I get Tackle at level 15, there's no guarantee I can beat Brock, since it'll probably do nothing to his Geodude and Onix. Well, after an hour of grinding, I get Tackle. The only thing that this is going to do is speed up grinding, since I don't have to run back to the Poké Center so much. I don't want to keep finding Metapods and Kakuna, so let's fight our rival. I know this isn't a required fight, but let's just see how we are compared to his Pokemon. He leads with Pidgey, and all we can do is tackle. I should also mention he knows Sand Attack, and that is going to be a real problem if we can't land our hit. We eventually take the Pidgey down, and then it's Bulbasaur, who fortunately doesn't have Vine Whip yet. I don't even want to think about what I'm gonna do when I battle a Grass or Electric type. Thanks to missing, we come oh so close, only to lose because of a critical hit. After a few more attempts, we defeat our rival, but it's obvious it's only gonna get harder from here. After even more grinding, I hit level 21, so I battle a gym trainer to see how I do with rock-type Pokemon. And before the fight, I used all my moves to get struggle because, yeah, Tackle would have done nothing and I'm really not trying to waste time here. Also, if you're wondering why I haven't been commentating the battles by move like I did in the League Holo Challenge, it's because KARPEDIEM will only use one move in battle, Tackle or Struggle, forget about Splash. But if you still want me to do it, here, I'll demonstrate. I used Struggle, took Recoil. Geodude hit me with Tackle. I took him out with the Struggle and took Recoil. Out comes Sandshrew, and I use Struggle and take Recoil. He uses Defense Curl. I used Struggle and took Recoil again. He used Defense Curl. I used Struggle and took Recoil. He used Sand Attack to lower my accuracy. I used Struggle and then took Recoil. He used Defense Curl. Okay, I think you get the point. I barely win the battle, but then again, I did only start with 75% of my health. So I think I'll be able to defeat Brock and his Onix, but I'm gonna need to be a little stronger. Just a tiny bit stronger. Judging from the previous battle, I'm defensively bulky. This is probably because I've been fighting Metapods and Kapunas who give defense EVs, and on top of that, I am a defense boosting nature. But I need to raise my Horde attack stat. So before I fight Brock, I grind on the west side of Viridian City near Victory Road to train my Magikarp. This side has Mankeys, who I'm pretty sure give attack EV, and they would raise my attack by a lot, which would be really helpful in the future. After ages and ages of grinding, I hit level 24 and decide to take on Brock and his rock-type Pokemon. Like my other fights, I used up all my moves prior to the fight to activate Struggle. His Geodude isn't really a threat, but he is annoying to take out thanks to him being so defensively bulky. The amount of recoil I take is around the same amount of damage he deals to me, so once I get a lucky crit, I take him down. Onix comes out and I'm around full health, so I figure I should be okay. Luckily, his Rock Doom doesn't do a lot and I'm not worried about my speed, so we just trade hits. Until my speed is so slow that Onix outspeeds me, but goes for Tackle, which does nothing. After his Onix luckily misses a bind, I'm able to just finish him off with 2 more Tackles. With that done, I move on toward Mount Moon, where I have to fight a bunch of trainers. Despite Magikarp being twice everyone's level, I still go back and forth between the Poké Centers because Magikarp is just so weak. On the way there, I stumble across a man who offers me a Magikarp for 500 Pokédollars. Hilarious. Make sure to check out my Train a Magikarp video to see what I ended up doing. Anyways, in Mount Moon there are various annoying trainers with Magnemites and Bellsprouts constantly making me go back to the Poké Center. I now see the huge threat of Grass and Electric types, who are extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. I eventually got past them, and after Team Rocket blasts off, I make my way to Cerulean City, where Shark wants to battle. Since my Magikarp's attack is so bad, it takes around 5 hits to finish his Pidgeotto, who has Sand Attack. Sadly, that's not even the worst part, because guess his next Pokemon, Bulbasaur, knows Vine Whip. So essentially, I need to get in an attempt where the Pidgeotto doesn't use Sand Attack or that I don't miss an attack. Then, I need to be in decent health when the Bulbasaur comes out to tank enough hits and survive and knock him out. With these odds, I think it's best if I just grind on the nearby route until I get to level 30 and learn my final move. Flail. An attack that does more damage the lower your health is. Funny enough, on this first attempt against my rival, I ended up not getting Sand Attacked a single time, so I didn't have to worry about accuracy. I luckily get a critical hit on Bulbasaur to bring his health to half, and I'm ready for him to take me to low health with a Vine Whip. Well, he is Sleep Powder, and I was totally not prepared for this, so I just hope I wake up. Well, once I do, I accidentally hit Tackle instead of Flail, so I don't do enough to finish him off, and he KOs me with a Vine Whip. If I had just hit Flail the first try, maybe I wouldn't have had to try another 15 times to get it right. At the end, I considered failing the Rattata, but I opted out for the Super Potion because I really wasn't about to do another attempt just because of a quick attack. Don't get me wrong, I was thinking about it. After that, I destroyed every Nugget Bridge trainer, including the guy who tried to recruit me to Team Rocket. And after that, I decided to give a gym a try. Maybe not the best idea. While the trainers are pretty easy, Misty has an annoying Staryu, because all it does is spam Recover. I really need to recover from the hours spent fighting Staryu. I really don't feel like grinding because that's honestly what I just did, so I decided to move on and fight more trainers. After saving Bill, I decided to give Misty another try at level 35. Staryu is pretty hard as it uses a Harden and Recover, so I can't quite finish it off. Its Water Pulse confuses me, but I finish it off with a Tackle. But I am confused when the Starmie comes out. My Tackle does barely any damage and Water Pulse deals a decent amount of my health. I Tackle again, she Water Pulses me, and things don't look so good. And the next turn I hit myself in confusion, which surprisingly was actually the best possible situation, because its Water Pulse put me at 2 HP, powering up my Flail, which is just barely powerful enough to knock out her Starmie and get the second badge. With the second badge, I can actually unlock the MVP of this challenge, Meowth. Along with being HM Slave, Meowth has the ability Pickup, which is able to get items after every battle. I have the chance of getting a rare candy to speed up grinding, and also a handful of nuggets and TMs I can sell. I can also get berries, which are extremely helpful when it comes to healing my status condition. I arrive in Vermilion City and go straight to the SSN, where we have another rival fight. This Pidgeotto opens up with a Gust and a Quick Attack, and just decides to never go for Sand Attack. Boy am I lucky. So I finish him off with Tackles, without getting my accuracy dropped. Ivysaur comes out and I know I'm essentially screwed. Until I get a critical hit with Flail, oh yeah. The rest of his team is just a sweep and Flail giving me the very easy victory over Shark. If I had not crit, I could have spent another day fighting Shark. After rubbing the captain's back, I get the HM for cut and I can now move on to the third gym. This gym is pretty scary since all of his Pokemon know electric type moves strong enough to hit me pretty hard, finishing me off in 1 or 2 hits. Along with that, I run the chance of getting paralyzed, which could also lower my chance of winning. Even when I get to 7 HP, I can't finish off the Raichu with Flail, and that was one of my luckier attempts. After 10 attempts of just fighting Surge, I decided I needed to come back with a better plan or just grind. I haven't really touched up on the Pokemon on Route 11, so let's go for another 200 Pokemon. Eventually, I hit level 40 and I decided to take on the gym again, and the same thing happens again. It's too difficult to get into that specific range of HP just strong enough to use Flail and knock out his Pokemon. Well, in battle at least, the only way to win is if I use Flail at a certain HP just strong enough to knock out his Raichu. And since it would be too hard to do that in battle, why not just try to do that outside of battle before the fight? So I use Splash and let wild Pokemon whittle me down to 3 HP and try the fight again, only using Flail. After doing some damage calculations, I found out that my Flail would be strong enough to take out his Raichu at that HP. Everything was going perfect until his Pikachu's Quick Attack, which would always go first to knock me out, and since I was at low HP, the game was smart enough to use it when I was at low health. So I had to find a specific damage range, high enough where his Pikachu's Quick Attack wouldn't knock me out, and low enough so I could barely finish off the Raichu. So after I figured that out, I fought him again, and for some reason his Pikachu decided not to go for Quick Attack and I finished the rest of his team with ease. The third badge was in my hands. With that done, I go through Diglett's cave and head back to the Viridian Forest. I caught myself 10 species of Pokemon for the HM Flash so I could use it for a rock tunnel. Don't worry, the most I'm going to use these Pokemon is for HMs. It turns out that was a good idea because between fighting hikers and their bulky rock Pokemon, there was no way I was going to get through this place without Flash. I avoid every hiker I can because every Onix or Graveler skip is gonna save me a lot of time. I still had to fight a few of them and there's this one hiker I just couldn't beat. Until his Geodude put me at 1 HP and his Graveler decided to not use 1, but 2 non-damaging moves so I finished him off. Can someone calculate what the chances are and comment that down below? Because the chance that his Geodude used Magnitude, got the exact magnitude and the exact damage roll to bring me to 1 HP is insane. Not even mentioning the Graveler using 2 non-damaging moves to keep me alive. After that, I hop down to Lavender Town where I'm left with a bunch of options. I can go left to Celadon and then Saffron, go up to the Pokemon Tower or go down to Route 12 and get a few levels. I don't feel like grinding so I went towards Celadon City and fought the trainers on the way there. There's a gym there, but it's grass type, so I'm not even gonna attempt to fight them until I'm at a higher level. Luckily, there is still plenty for us to do like the Team Rocket hideout where I stormed the entire place only to get stopped by Giovanni, the head of Team Rocket, who has an Onix. Even if I get past his Onix, I still have to deal with his Rhyhorn, which is also trouble. Well, luckily, Celadon City is also the place where I can purchase X Attack and X Defense, items that will boost my stats in battles. Pair that up with a dire hit to raise the chance of getting a critical hit and I have a shot against Giovanni. So while his Onix is out, I set up X Defense and X Attack since he doesn't deal a lot of damage. Once I get all set up and ready, I use Flail to take him down. Rhyhorn comes out and I heal up and slowly lower his health. I sacrifice my speed in the process. Once Rhyhorn goes down, it's Kangaskhan who goes down to 2 hits because he isn't resistant to any of my moves. Giovanni gives me the Silp Scope and leaves, but I already know that the future battles against him aren't going to be any easier. I move on to the Pokemon Tower where there is one more rival fight. I plan this one out so that before the fight I get into a low health range so that the Pidgeotto's quick attack leaves me at 1 HP so that I can one-shot the Ivysaur with Flail. Now, I could have tried to Flail on his Gyarados, but considering the grinding I've been having to do, I don't want to take my chances. Looking back, it might not have been necessary to use all those potions, but it is better to be safe than sorry. I ended up beating my rival on my second attempt and was ready to move on. Until I realized that normal type attacks couldn't hit ghost types. And unfortunately, the only moves I knew were Splash, Tackle, and Flail, all of which were normal type. This part of the game was also necessary as there is no other way of getting the flute. So how am I supposed to beat trainers with Pokemon that I can't hit? Well, there is actually a solution. Remember how I started out with Splash? It turns out Struggle can hit ghost types as well since it's a typeless move. So I go all the way down the tower, use up every move I have, buy some potions, and go up the tower. Since everybody was in the level 20s, this isn't too hot as there were no real boss fights, so after calming the spirit of Cubone's bomb, I get to Mr. Fuji who gives me the flute. I can now go all the way down to Fuchsia City, but I decide to take care of business in the grass gym. Since none of Erica's Pokemon know priority moves, I get KARPEDIEM into low health before the battle, and use Flail on every Pokemon until I see their victory bell. I now had the 4th badge. Great, 4 more to go. Team Rocket decided to cause even more trouble by taking over Silphco, so I headed over there to sort things out. The worst thing about this is usually the maze there. But our rival is also there and he wants to fight us. Usually I would try the low HP and Flail strategy, but he has a Venusaur and not 1 but 2 Pokemon with Intimidate. So I go with the item strategy. This one takes forever as I need a perfect attempt for me to set up, but eventually I get past the Pidgeotto, one-shot the Venusaur with Flail, spam potions until Gyarados gets me to 6 HP to use Flail, heal, and tackle down the rest of his team. This one took me a good 20 attempts or so, but we aren't done yet, because right after this, I have to fight Giovanni. Again. I spam X defense to max out my defense, then use another 6 X attacks to max out my attack, as the Nidorino lowered my health, raising Flail's power, which allowed me to take it out with a crit the next turn, but not without getting poisoned. Next is Nidoqueen, and I take the risk and go for Flail, and unfortunately don't take her out. Luckily his Nidoqueen went for a poison sting, so I was able to live. So after using a super potion, I took it out the next turn. Kangaskhan went down to 2 Flails, and finally it was Rhyhorn, so I healed and he missed 2 Fury attacks in a row, then proceeded to miss a Rock Blast. After flailing, I managed to squeeze in a victory, barely getting past him. With the Silphco shenanigans done, I teleported my way over to Serena's gym to battle her. Like my other battles, it's a matter of setting up to be able to sweep her team. However, her first Pokemon Kadabra is kind of too strong and all her attacks deal more than half of my health. So I let weaker Pokemon damage me until I got into a very low health range and tried the fail strategy like I did in the other gyms. It was going perfectly until I leveled up. By leveling up, I actually gained health, which weakened Flail. On top of that, Venomoth was way more bulky than the others, so there was really no chance for me. After a few more attempts, I figured it was best if I just moved on and came back to the gym with the item strategy. Yep, the item strategy. So I spammed X attacks, got to low HP, and failed the rest of her team. 5 badges, 3 to go. I make my way down to Fuchsia and pick up a few levels in the process. You know how they say you have to forgive and forget? Well, that's exactly what I did. I forgave my Magikarp for being such a bad Pokemon in the beginning, only knowing Splash. Then, we forgot about Splash. Yep, in Fuchsia City, you come across a move deleter, and me and Magikarp both agreed that we would get rid of Splash. With this new mentality, me and Magikarp were ready to crush any trainer away, starting with Koga, the gym leader. Koga is essentially an item setup as I need to avoid poison while setting up my stats. It's annoying to get poisoned, so after a few attempts, I gave my Magikarp the Pecha Berry so I won't have to waste the turn healing poison. And after ages and ages of attempts, I finally get set up and take down his final Pokemon, Coughing, with a Flail. Boy did that take many attempts. After traveling down to Cinnabar, I grab the key to the gym and I head on in. After answering every question correctly, I got to the gym leader Blaine and set up my X attacks on his Growlithe. After ages of setting up and trying to get myself to the right HP, I finally get lowered to 4 HP. The Flail sweep is on. I finished his final Pokemon Arcanine and was ready to move on. One more gym to go. Beating Blaine set the stage for our last gym battle in Viridian City. So I headed on in and found out that I can't even beat the gym trainer's Pokemon, who are all level 30 and 40. I haven't leveled up much for the past couple of gyms, so this may be the time to grind. I get to level 68 and I'm finally able to get past the trainers to get to the gym leader. The strat was like any other item setup, to spam X defense and X attacks. Except this time I didn't want him to lower my speed, so I constantly used guard specs to stop that. Wait for him to get me just to the right health, not too much, but just barely enough to sweep his team. Yes, finally, this took many attempts, but once I got it right, Giovanni was blasting off again. And just like that, me and Magikarp had collected every single gym badge in the region, but we weren't done yet. We were gonna take down the Elite Four. On the way there, our rival stopped us for another battle. It was just like any other item sweep, and me and Magikarp were just really feeling it. We started our journey to Victory Road, but I decided to skip every trainer there, mainly because the trainers all have Gravelers and Onyx. We get to the end without fighting a trainer, and here we are at the Elite Four. KARPEDIEM may not be the best, but we did collect every gym badge to get here and defeated most of the trainers. So why can't he defeat the Elite Four? Let's do this. Never mind. Magikarp can't really withstand any hits from Loreley's Dewgong, so we're gonna have to come back stronger. Much stronger. Much stronger. So for this last brutal grind, I fought the remaining trainers in the region, and lots of wild Pokemon. Picked up some valuable items with Meow, and got myself to level 80. I was ready to take on the Elite Four again. I had enough rare candies to get myself to level 100, but I just want to see how low of a level I can do this at. First was Loreley, who I wasn't strong enough against, so I leveled myself to level 85, found out I wasn't strong enough again, and then leveled up to level 90. I had to set up on the Dewgong, wait for it to get me to low HP and flail it, then heal myself back to full health and slowly take down the Cloyster. Slowbro was a bulky Pokemon, but after 2 tackles and a flail I was able to take it down. I then spammed potions on Jinx in hopes for it to get me to lower health to power up my flail, which was strong enough to take it down. And finally was a critical hit on Lapras to seal the deal. And next was Bruno, who led with an Onyx, whose attacks weren't very good. So I allowed him to get me to very low HP, and flailed the rest of his team, except for his Onyx at the end. Here's where it gets really interesting. The next member was Agatha, who has not 1, not 2, but 3 Ghost-type Pokemon. So I had to use up all my moves on his Gengar to activate Struggle. Since I wasn't dealing any damage, he set up so many double teams, but once I used up all my moves and set up items on him, he went down. But he unfortunately did confuse me before fainting. Struggle wasn't strong enough to take down her Golbat, and thanks to confusion, I was almost taken down. But after healing, I snapped out of confusion and took the Golbat down. The rest of her team was an easy sweep with Struggle, and I had taken down the 3rd member of the Elite Four. The final Elite Four member was Lance, and luckily he didn't have any Ghost-type Pokemon. He did, however, have this Gyarados that thought he was better than my Magikarp. I have to be careful since he has Dragon Rage, but once he got me to 4 HP, it was basically over. We were almost at the finish line, but there's just one more thing in the way. Shark. Our rival from the start. From that first battle where I couldn't hit him, to the epic item sweeps, it was all coming down to now, this one battle to see who was the true champion. We went into the battle. The first step is to set up a guard spec so his Pidgeot can't lower my accuracy. Then I would set up X defense so his attacks would do less and allow me to tank more hits, allowing me to set up my attack and speed. This setup took multiple attempts, but once his Pidgeotto got me to 5 HP, I was ready to sweep his team with Flail. Until Rhydon came out. Though my attacks did nothing, neither did his. He constantly tried to lower my speed, but guard specs took care of that. Eventually, I was able to crit him and take him out. Next came Gyarados, who thought he could just sit there and intimidate me, but I slowly whittled him down. And finally was Arcanine. I was just one flail away, one move away from becoming the champion, until I discovered he had extreme speed, ending my ultimate run. We had gotten all the way there just to lose to one silly little mistake. So I did it all over again, waited for Arcanine to get me to the right HP, and used Flail to take him down, making my Magikarp the champion of the Kanto region. Over 54 in-game hours, not including the resets. Thanks for watching, battle. And I'll see you. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and comment down below what I could do in a future video.